Hello, I'm Peter Blackwood. Welcome back to Icon Diary. I'm painting an icon of the Annunciation, of the Archangel Gabriel greeting the Virgin Mary. And I'm using as my model royal doors painted by Aidan Hart. And so, welcome aboard this journey. This is quite a small panel, 17 by 23. And I am needing to do a bit of an adjustment to this model because the two figures need to be closer together than they are in Aidan Hart's royal doors. I've started with pencil. I am putting in more firm lines with paint, this time with titanium grey. Then I've continued with titanium grey, watered down somewhat, but as an underpainting. This panel was really shiny, and to get the paint to stick without cooling was a bit of a challenge. Then there's this very bright background in cadmium red purple, but not mixed with egg tempera, but with acrylic. And in a little while, I'll explain why. So I've decided to give some gilding a go, but with a difference. For quite a few years now, I've been using the Colna Instacol method of gilding, and people have been suggesting to me lately that what the base of that product is a very high quality acrylic. So why not use a common or garden kind of acrylic and see if that works as well? So I've used an acrylic medium, and I have mixed it with cadmium purple, red purple, and painted it on a couple of coats, and it has sealed the panel really effectively. And then I will apply gold in the same way as I do with the Colna Instacol and see what happens. So, having sealed the area to be gilded thoroughly with this acrylic medium mixed with the cadmium red purple, 2 coats, nice and shiny, well sealed, and then I breathe on the surface and then apply the hard press gold and press it into place with a cotton ball. The method is pretty much the same as what I've used for the Colna Instacol method. The main difference is that I don't use the activator that Colna recommend. Instead, I simply breathe on the surface, and that has worked really well. And it works well with this too. What are the advantages? Well, the Instacol base is pretty gluggy and needs to be diluted, and it takes a lot of cleaning the brushes as well. Using the medium just works on straight away and no fuss, dries quickly. I prefer it. I'm going to do it again. Another thing that I'm trying this time that I've not done before, not quite in this way, is to do all the underpainting at the same time, but also to do it in grey. And this is a very old method in Western art, something in French called grisé, which is French for grey. So to do sort of a monochrome version of the figures in grey and white. And so that's what I'm trying here. You're seeing this played back 8 times normal speed. That's why it looks so fast. It also strangely looks easier when it's played fast. It's not. It's quite painstaking. This is not a good example of grisé because I'm not doing very sort of fine adjustments to the tonal differences. But it's a go because all my finer details will happen when the base colours go on and then the highlighting. But anyway, I'm giving it a go on Gabriel, and I'm going to finish Gabriel before I start on Mary, because if this doesn't work, then I'll do something different for Mary, go back perhaps to what I'm used to doing. So here we go. Gabriel has a couple of anatomical problems. Firstly, in his feet, his right foot is oversized, and his left ankle is broken, I think. So that needs fixing. And I think his face needs reorganising as well. So let's do that in pencil before we do anything else. Well, I abandoned the grisaille method of doing the underpainting, which I did in Gabriel, which was to do it all in grey and shades of grey and white. I've gone back to really what's probably better called the membrane method, so that the main outlines and shadings I have painted with burnt umber, and then you will see the overpainting, the blocking in. The outer garment is ultramarine with knocked back with burnt umber, and then mixed with the cadmium red purple that I've been using quite a bit throughout this the painting of this icon, and that gives that very deep purple look to the outer garment. I've used the same ultramarine and burnt umber mix for the undergarment. And then for the highlights on the outer garment, I've continued to use the ultramarine and burnt umber mixed with white progressively. And I've used the same mixture for the highlights in the undergarment. So basically the highlights are the same in both garments, but what distinguishes the outer from the inner is the use of the blocking in with the ultramarine and the cadmium red purple, and the effect is okay, I think. This bit of panel is so shiny, it's just not taking the egg temper at all. I'm going to have to use the acrylic binder instead. That'll be... that works much better. I've been wondering what to do with my inscriptions, and I'm thinking about it now while I wait for all that Mars Black paint to dry really well before I do any more gilding. And the first question is, should this have a red border around it? And when I have a look at mocking this up, yes, the answer is yes. Needs a red border, so we'll do that in time. But what about inscription? Well, there's Gabriel and there's Mary, and these are two standard ways of putting those inscriptions in, and that looks okay. But would it be better if they balance off like that rather than having Mary's inscription over the top of her? Because there is quite a gap between her and the border. Their heads are equidistant apart from the centre, so what else can we do? Well, we could put just Annunciation, and this kind of works because it balances up the wing down at the bottom left. Maybe. Or do we scrunch it up a bit? Maybe. Or do we put it that way? Maybe. No, don't think so. What about putting everything in? That sort of uses up all that wide gold space. No, it leaves that sort of gap up the top even more so. Perhaps not. Like that? What about that? Simple. I think that would work. So I thought I would do the gold bits in the wings and some of the edging on Mary's clothing. It's what's called gold assist. And I'm rubbish at doing gold assist. So what you can see me doing now, I've sped up to 20 times the normal speed so that you can't really see it. And I've just got to get proper lessons from somebody. But in the meantime, I had a go using some of the acrylic and pressing the gold on, and it kind of went everywhere and had to patch up using the acrylic medium and Mars Black to tidy it up somewhat. Still a mess. Sorry about that. Well, do you like my new magnifying goggles? It even has a light, which I don't need, but can use it if I want to. And for doing fine work, I'm pretty pleased with that. And so now I'm just using burnt umber to make the main features very clear before I paint on the Sankia, on the flesh, for the flesh tones for these two characters. So once the main features were made more obvious, I mixed a Sankia, a shadow coat of raw umber green with a little bit of unbleached titanium, and that's gone over all the flesh parts, the feet, hands and the faces. And then I've added yellow ochre. This is the flesh tone, yellow ochre, plus a little Ercolano red and terra vert, and started the highlighting and gradually adding titanium white to that mixture to add more highlights as the coats have been put on. At some point then it all looked a bit too white, so you'll see there in the middle panel I got to a point where I needed to do a glaze over the top, and it was a glaze of the original flesh tones, but watered down somewhat. Well, there is my icon of the Annunciation, of Gabriel greeting Mary in Luke's Gospel. I'm not really happy with my gilding, especially the gold assist. I'm not really much good at it. So I live with that and either learn more about it or do less of it. The composition? Yes, it's all right, except that if I did this again, I would move Mary back a little bit. There is a lot of space between Gabriel that's taken up with his wing, and I think that could have been improved. I'm happy with the clothing, particularly the sense of movement in Gabriel's folds, particularly down towards his feet. It looks like he's moving towards Mary, as compared with the stillness depicted in the folds of Mary's garment. But there we have an icon of the Annunciation, which will be on our Christmas card this year. Thank you for watching this video. Put a like, put a comment. Love to hear from you, and look forward to seeing you again in the next series of Icon Diary.